Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. We'd like to welcome those of you who have just watched the thriller from the vet. Philadelphia winning on a last-second field goal over Cincinnati. Your old buddy Boomer Esiason had quite a game, but they came up a little short.
It's nice to see a 36-year-old veteran have a game like that.
You should still be playing.
I don't know about that.
Jerome Bettis, who was the workhorse in the opening series, begins Pittsburgh's second series. Let's go to New York for a scoring update with Greg.
Dan, you were just talking about it. Here it is. Chris Bonio, 5 seconds remaining, regulation. 42-41. Bengals lead the Eagles, but from 31 yards out. Bonio is perfect. And the Eagles edge the Bengals. Boomer Esiason, 4 touchdown passes in defeat. Bob Hoying, 4 TD passes in victory. Dan?
Thank you, Greg. Pittsburgh, which marched right down the field on their opening drive, using 11 rushes and 2 passes, starts with a rush, and this their second play, and Kordell Stewart is on the mark to the tight end, Mark Bruner. And Bruner has the first down.
Well, Kordell Stewart nailed this one in there. Bruner run an excellent route getting out, but Kordell Stewart throwing a good timely pattern, being able to follow through and have the room to step up and throw the football.
Bruner, who has a propensity for catching touchdowns, in fact, 10 catches, 5, a team leading, have gone for touchdowns. He's got the first down, and Pittsburgh that quickly into the Cardinal territory at the Arizona 46, and Jerome Bettis surging right up the middle into the heart of that Cardinal defensive front.
Bettis carries.
Well, Jerome came to the desert to get this many carries this early. If he continues this, well, he's going to be way up for 30, 40 carries. And a guy that size, you wouldn't think he'd be able to stay in there, be able to do that time and time again.
So a good start for Bill Cowher and the Steelers. He said we've got to play better on the road, and even more importantly, we have got to stop falling behind. They fell behind 17-6 at the half last week, 20-6 in the third quarter to Philly. Stewart, and thrown just a little bit behind Yancey Thigpen, and that was Aeneas Williams, the 3-time Pro Bowler on the coverage.
Well, Aeneas Williams gives Yancey Thigpen a lot of cushion. I mean, he has a lot of confidence in his ability, but Thigpen knows that he had a step on him. If that ball is a little bit out in front of him, that could be 6 points.
Aeneas Williams, one of the best corners in the business, has returned 6 interceptions for touchdowns in his career. He has the team mark. The NFL record in that category is 9. Out of the shotgun on third down, Stewart to the far sidelines over the head of Charles Johnson.
Well, I'm sure Kordell would like to have that one back, because Charles Johnson had a couple steps on the defensive back right there. And I guess it's more so taking a chance and throwing the ball a little bit before he probably should have. And a lot of times when receivers are doing the out and up or the stutter and go, you're going to take a chance. But what he needed to do there is just put a little bit more air under it.
Remember what Bill Cowher told us last night? He said, all I expect Kordell to do is to get the ball there, and it's up to the receiver to go get it. Don't worry about being perfect. Or Kevin Williams back to receive the Josh Miller punt. Miller, who has had his on and off days this year, just hummels this one into the end zone for the touchback. So the Cardinals, with some hope, they've stopped Pittsburgh on their second drive. The NFL online at MSNBCSports.com. On this Thanksgiving weekend, we take an entertaining look at what each NFL team has to be thankful for. Also, our own Jim Morris shares his thoughts on what he looks for and a great NFL running back. Then vote for who you think is the league's best. It's all at MSNBCSports.com. The Arizona Cardinals with their third offensive series, their first 2, both 3 and out. Jake Plummer goes to the air, and Rob Moore very close to the first down at the 30-yard line. Chad Scott on the coverage.
That's what I like to see Jake Plummer do. Go back 5 steps and throw those, I guess you can say, a little conservative routes, but when you can go out there and throw the 8 to 10-yard routes, get a little confidence by himself, because he knows going into this game that the running game is not going to be as productive as most quarterbacks would like.
Just short of the first down, but look at all the pass attempts in the last 4 games, including in that New York Giants game where he passed for an NFL rookie record, 388 yards. just short of the first down. Larry Centers will lose more, and this is somewhat of an instant replay of what the Cardinals have seen all year long. All they needed was a yard, and they lose about 2 or 3.
That's exactly what I was going to say, but the penetration on the right side of your screen, you cannot get anywhere when you have to make a move 2-3 yards in the backfield. You're not going to get anywhere doing that, and all of a sudden Jake Plummer finds himself, instead of like first down, third down and around 4.
Again, the Pittsburgh vaunted defense, second in the NFL against the rush. And for a team which is as anemic in that department as the Cardinals are, they don't have much of a shot really on the ground. So Plummer works out of the shotgun, fires to the near side, and a diving Larry Centers can't come up with it. And once again, Arizona is 3 and out for the 3rd straight time.
Well, Jake Plummer should be happy that he didn't throw that one on the money, because right there, Chris Oldham had excellent coverage. If he throws that where it's supposed to be, where the receivers, that might be intercepted the other way for 6 points.
Jeff Fiegels, who grew up here in the Phoenix area, set to punt it away again. Will Blackwell stands at his 30-yard line, and this is a nice punt by Fiegels, driving Blackwell back to the 18, dodges one Cardinal, still on his feet, but skids out at the 23-yard line. Pittsburgh's 3rd offensive series here begins at the 23-yard line. They lead it 7-0. Less than a minute left in the opening quarter. Jerome Bettis, not much working there, as he's lucky to get back up to the 25-yard line. Michael Bankston up front puts the clamps on the bus, and 42 seconds and counting left in the opening quarter.
This is where the Arizona Cardinals have to step up. When you know your offense has struggled in the past, somebody has to make a big play, whether it's an interception or trying to strip the ball. They got to find a way to get positive field position for their offense.
Stewart fakes it and then fakes the reverse and then sets up the screen on the right side to Bettis. And Bettis rumbling for a Pittsburgh first down to the 39. Eric Hill makes the stop, but Pittsburgh, their final play of the first quarter, an exclamation mark. They lead it 7-0. On his way to what would be his 9th 100-yard game of the season, 3rd best in the NFL, averaging 109.8 yards a game. He has carried it already 11 times, all of those coming in the first quarter, and he has 48 yards.
I guess you said it right at the beginning. He's the workhorse for the Steelers. There's no doubt about that.
And he's on his way to another 100-yard game if the Cardinals' defense doesn't start stopping him. They give it to Jerome again, and Jerome up to the 42-yard line, brought down by Eric Swan, who's been to the Pro Bowls the last 2 years and one of the bright spots on this Cardinal defense.
You know, talking to some of those guys yesterday, especially a guy like Eric Swan, Simeon Rice, they know that they're going to have to stop Jerome Bettis. If they have a chance of winning this football at all, they know that number 36 has got to be stopped in his tracks, and so far they haven't been able to do that.
There you saw the Jacksonville score. So again, Pittsburgh trying to keep pace with Jacksonville atop the AFC Central. Jerome lost it for a moment, but gathers it back in, and Arizona stopping Bettis for maybe a yard or 2, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Once again this season, the Cardinals are proud to recognize.
Well, pretty much that's all the Steelers have been doing, is running Jerome on 1st and 2nd down, and usually have been successful. But they might have to start mixing it up. Give Kordell some of those positive throws that we talked about earlier.
Bill Cowher's team again returning to the site of the loss of Super Bowl 30, where they lost to Dallas. This is the first time that Bill Cowher and some of the Steelers who played on that Super Bowl team have been back here to this field. Kordell working out of the shotgun, has plenty of time all day, and he's on the mark to Will Blackwell, but Blackwell's going to be short of the first down, and the Cardinals have something to cheer about.
Well,
J.J. McCluskey, makes the tackle.
Well, sorry, Dan, but right there, Kordell Stewart did an excellent job trying to find receivers, but pretty much everybody was covered. I looked around, I saw what Kordell saw, and really the only thing that he probably could have done has pulled it down the run, but he was able to go to his third receiver, find him. It's just a matter of breaking the tackle.
Josh Miller into punt, so after the Steelers took the opening drive right down the field, Cardinal defense must be figuring something out. Force Josh Miller to punt again. Kevin Williams had an incredible week last week. 6 punt returns for 110 yards, but this one will sail over his head, and Arizona will try to do something other than a 3-and-out on their next offensive chance.
The Mitsubishi Montero Sport, the smooth-riding sport utility vehicle built for living. By Citizen. Today, more than ever, Citizen is how the world tells time. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Welcome you back to the Valley of the Sun, Sun Devil Stadium, and a look at the Cardinals' first 3 possessions.
Ouch. 3 plays, 3 plays, and 3 plays. You can't expect to do too much or win too many football games doing that.
The offensive coordinator in his first year for Arizona, Dick Jamieson, watching on. His offense has -1 yards total, while Pittsburgh has already amassed over 100. So something has to get going here for Jake Plummer. So he goes to the air. It's complete to Frank Sanders, but a flag comes in. And against Pittsburgh.
Well, he knew he had a free play, but, you know, I like what I saw there. At least they...
Number 74, offense. Defense, 5 yards, repeat the down, first down.
Call against Nolan Harrison.
Well, at least they came out throwing the football. They're not going to say, okay, we got to stick with our run. And if you're going to stick with the run, maybe on 2nd down or something, but mix it up. You got to keep the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers guessing. If you don't do that, if you come out and run the ball every 1st and 2nd down, you're going to have 3 plays not the entire game.
Well, they gained 5 on the penalty there, so that's a bright spot. There's another look at Bettis' rushing. 51, Arizona -1.
He's laying a neutral zone.
1st and 5. To the air, a one-handed grab attempt made by Frank Sanders, but he can't hang on. Chad Scott was on him. A bullet fired out to the flats by Plummer.
Well, I'm sure that the Arizona Cardinals knew coming into today's game that they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher, but one thing that Jake Plummer's got to do, he's got to spread it out. And this is a guy, Frank Sanders, that he has a lot of confidence in. It's pretty much his 3rd down receiver, but right there trying to make something positive happen.
2nd down and 5 from the 25. Plummer to the air again. That one over the head of Moore. And it has been nothing more than an exercise in futility for the Cardinal offense. Look at Jake's numbers early.
Well, you know that something's not going the way they would like it when the receiver looks back as quick as Rob Moore did right there to the quarterback. Like, what are you doing? Why'd you throw the ball that high? Those are the type of throws that get receivers killed. And I've thrown a few of those in my career that I really didn't mean to throw, but those things happen. But Jake's got to settle down right now and take control.
12-17 left in the opening half. Pittsburgh only with a 7-0 lead. Plummer goes down. Carnell Lake on the safety blitz. 2nd sack for Pittsburgh.
Right here, you're going to see Carnell Lake at the top of your screen right here. What he does right here, he's looking at the receiver. He's trying to bait Jake Plummer in not to audible one out. And right there, they had the right play called with a quick slant, but it was excellent coverage by the secondary. If he tries to force it in there, it might be intercepted.
Once again, the Cardinal offense spinning its wheels. And as Fiegel's punt goes off of his foot, flags come in and whistles.
On the kicking team.
Indicating a penalty against the Cardinals.
Still 4th down.
Well, there's defense coordinator Jim Haslett. I played with him up in Buffalo, and you know he's been having the right ingredients throughout the course of this game. And he came and told me yesterday that one of these days he would like to be head coach. But guess who for? His old team, the Buffalo Bills. He said maybe one of these days I will get that opportunity. But he's doing an excellent job at keeping the Pittsburgh Steelers where they should.
Well, look at the defense this season under Haslett. 16 players with at least a sack, 34 total, 7th in the NFL. And again, Pittsburgh, the small market team, loses free agent after free agent every year, and Tom Donahoe and the personnel staff at Pittsburgh just keep plugging in the holes.
They do, and Jim Haslett doing a good job of mixing it up so you don't know each and every time that a certain defensive back is going to come with a blitz.
Fiegel's punt taken by Blackwell at the 34, and Blackwell gets it up to the 45-yard line, so an 11-yard return for Blackwell, and Pittsburgh takes a 7-0 lead. Second quarter. Tobin in his first year as an NFL head coach, the longtime defensive coordinator with the Bears, and then a stint with the Colts. The Cardinals 3-9, but they have had some close games. 7 games, in fact, have been decided in the final minute or in overtime. They were able to pull out the win over the Eagles last week, 13-10.
I can force a coach to get a lot of gray hairs.
Jake Plummer, who's been sacked twice, has time going down the right side of the field to Moore, and Rob Moore had his man beat Wolford, but Plummer could not connect.
I don't know if Rob Moore underestimated Jake Plummer's arm, but that was an excellent throw out there, just a little over the outstretched arms. But right here you see Rob Moore, what he's saying is, hey, I'm just going to go with my speed. And at the beginning you can see exactly what he thought. And Plummer thought that this was going to be right on the money. Again, slow down. Try to take some of the things that they're giving you. And I know that right there, if he puts it right on the numbers, that's 6 points.
Well, they give it to centers, and this goes practically nowhere. You know, Jake Plummer, slight of build, 6'2", 197 pounds. He doesn't look like he weighs 177 pounds, but does have sneaky arm strength. Would you agree?
No, he does. I've watched him throw the ball before, even in warm-ups, and he does. Even Vince Tobin told us that, you know, it kind of surprised him at the beginning to see the arm strength of Jake Plummer, but you know, people even say sometimes he moves around and reminds them of a Joe Montana, a young Joe Montana. He's still got a long way to go before he can even fill those shoes, but they have a lot of confidence in this guy. 3rd
down and 8. Jake steps up, and again in the same part of the field, he's got more this time. And again on Wolford. Hey, if it doesn't work the first time, try it again.
Oh, you gotta love that. I mean, coming right back to it the first time, Rob Moore had him beat. And I think he might have went back and huddled and say, hey, let's do it again. This time I'm going to get the football. You throw it out there, and I'll get the ball there. And that's exactly what Jake Plummer did. Put a little bit more air under it. And I think they need to come back to this. And what surprised me early on, and even talking to Rob Moore yesterday, is his size. And what Vince Tobin said, hey, just throw the ball out there. He's going to go get it.
Gain of 43 to Rob Moore, who's having a career season in his 8th year in the NFL. They try to get on the ground, and some decent yardage for McElroy up the middle for a 1st down. And suddenly the Cardinal offense has some momentum.
They sure do, and I know that there's a bunch of cheerleaders on the other side. The defense of the Arizona Cardinals are liking this. They get a chance to sit on the bench and rest a little bit. When you have a running game that can complement a quarterback like Jake Plummer, that you don't have to put all the pressure on, it's going to make positive things happen. That's what the Cardinals need right now.
Suddenly Jim Haslett's defense has been giving up some big plays. Plummer has a lot of time, decides to run it out, gets back to about the line of scrimmage. You know, Jim, despite the couple of sacks that he's had, the Cardinal offensive line has done a decent job protecting him.
Well, they have. I think that you look at what they've been able to do and what they've tried to do at times, try to establish the run. And I think most teams know in order to win in this league nowadays, you got to have a running game. But the Cardinals are doing an excellent job so far. I mean, they haven't put the ball in the end zone, but we'll see what happens.
The red zone offense scored on 9 of its last 10 possessions. Arizona decent in that category. Now here with 2nd down and 10 from the Pittsburgh 15. Larry Centers will lose a couple. So right when we praise the offensive line.
Doesn't it usually happen?
Pass blocking they're doing well, but they can't get any surge up front against Pittsburgh. Levon Kirkland, who goes 6'1", 274 pounds, up there to lead the Steelers.
Unbelievable. I mean, a linebacker being that big. I can remember many years ago when I first got into the league, that was the biggest defensive lineman, was about 275 pounds.
They lose a couple. 3rd down and 12 from the 17. Plummer needs a bunch. He's going to run it out and get back to the original line of scrimmage, and that is all. Orpheus Roy, number 71, brings Plummer down, and Arizona will come on to attempt a punt, or a field goal rather.
I think at particular time, almost a face mask right there, little hands to the nose. And you look and you listen to some of the fans here. At times you'd almost think that they're playing at Three River Stadium, how loud it is with all the Pittsburgh fans.
This might as well be Three Rivers West for all of the terrible towels we see out in the stands. So Joe Nedney, who hit the 43-yard game winner last week as time expired to give the Cardinals the victory, on the mark from 32 yards out. And Arizona, which couldn't do anything a couple of moments ago, suddenly has some hope. Tempe, Dan Hicks with Jim Kelly, and from the way that opening drive looked for Pittsburgh, it looked like the Steelers were on their way to a blowout. Instead, the Cardinal defense has gotten better and better, and the Cardinal offense finally found its rhythm. They just marched 57 yards to make it 7-3, and the field goal by Nedney, and now Nedney kicks off, and Blackwell takes it at the goal line across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Well, next Sunday, exciting NFL action continues at 12 noon Eastern Time with the NFL on NBC. Most of you will see John Elway and the Denver Broncos battle these Pittsburgh Steelers. Key game for Pittsburgh at home, its final regular season home game of the season. Or check out regional action. And then some of you will see the Colts take on the Jets at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. You can check your local listings for the game in your area. It's the NFL on NBC beginning next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern Time. We mentioned that opening drive for Pittsburgh. The last 3 possessions since, just 26 yards. Kordell begins this one with a pass on his knees. Thigpen cannot come up with it.
You'd almost want to say there's too much heat on it, but one thing he has to do is look the ball in. Don't let the ball hit your pads. Right here you see Yancey Thigpen. He runs a deep route. It's a good play action pass. It brings the linebackers up. But right there, an excellent route. But what Yancey tries to do is catch the ball with his chest, his pads. He should look the ball into his hands, and I'm sure he knows that.
Yancey Thigpen told us yesterday that they had probably one of the best practices of the year, unlike the previous week before they went to Veterans Stadium and lost a tough one there, 23-20. Said the team was ready to go on the road and win. They're up 7-3 here. Jerome Bettis rumbling to the right side, gets up to the 27-28 yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down. Michael Bankston was there to meet number 36.
Well, that's very important, Dan. You mentioned the practice. You have to be able to practice. You get your confidence when you're working together, and especially for a young quarterback like Kordell Stewart. He's not, I guess should say, he's not very comfortable yet with the whole thing of the offensive system, but it just takes a lot of time and time between him and the receivers to get where they want.
3rd down here for Kordell. They need 6. Ball at the 27. And out of the shotgun, they just pitch it out to Courtney Hawkins, and Hawkins has the 1st down. Nifty play by Pittsburgh.
And they're just pulling everything out now. That's something that usually can work, especially if there's man coverage, and that's what you have to look at. You have to be able to come out with different things. Right here, you have Courtney Hawkins, and one thing you have to do is know when you have speed. And when you're able to get out there and you have a big guy moving around there like John Jackson, one of the best tackles in the league, heck, you can go for that and take a chance.
There's Courtney Hawkins, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, who picks up the 1st down for Pittsburgh. Ball at the 33-yard line. 4:48 and counting remaining in the opening half. Kordell Stewart right up the middle on a quarterback sneak. Picks up the 1st down.
You know what he saw. He saw something that he looked at this, and it was just a matter of looking. I mean, you have John Jackson split out wide, but what Kordell Stewart sees, he sees this big opening here, and at times what he'll do is just give the center a lot of pressure, and he'll go with the snap count. He won't even call anything. It's almost like it's between him and the center.
And he got a nice block from his center, Dermontti Dawson, who's probably the best in the game today.
There's no doubt.
1st and 10, Jerome Bettis. Backpedaling up to the 47-yard line. Eric Hill was there to meet him.
And I'm sure if you talk to Kordell, I mean, you look, there's nobody lining up over the center. And when you have a big hole like this over the center, why not take advantage of it? I mean, there's probably, 3-4 yards right there. And as much as Kordell likes to do it, why not? He did say that, he's not Slash. He doesn't like to get hit anymore, but heck, if you're going to give him that big of an opening, why not take it?
I tell you, and Dermontti Dawson just takes off like a track star through that hole, and he's going to nail somebody upfield. So he's kind of the lead blocker for Kordell in that situation. 2nd down and 8. Stewart flushed out again. And turning the corner up the field. He just outraced a couple of Cardinals, including Simeon Rice.
I thought there's no way he's going to be able to get out of this one. But again, excitement. I mean, that's what Kordell Stewart brings to this offense. They know that they cannot rely on Jerome Bettis all the time. And Bill Cowher knows that if there's certain situations where he needs Kordell to make the big play, he does. He steps up. Smart play right here. Knowing where the 1st down marker is and getting out of bounds.
Rice and Bernard Wilson had the angle on Stewart, and I think they were a little surprised of his burst of speed. Another 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh, and passing on 1st down, Kordell Stewart. And Yancey Thigpen was nailed by your former teammate, Jim, Matt Darby.
Ouch. And Kordell Stewart did not see Matt Darby. Matt Darby was sitting back in the right side center of your field, and he's just pretty much baiting. You can't see him come into the picture until late. Right here. Boom. Oh. Ouch. I felt that all the way up here, and we're up pretty high.
Darby returned to the lineup last week after missing 4 games with a concussion. You better be careful with hits like that. He's going to give himself another one. Whoa. Thigpen is all right.
And you like to see him being able to walk off. I hope everything's assembled on him, because that was a blow. And I know Matt Darby very well. He's not a cheap shot artist. He loves to make hits. He's a very physical player, and that's why he's been in the league many years. But it's good to see Yancey Thigpen at least jog off the field.
Thigpen being asked on the sidelines what state he's in. In the meantime, they go with a bus left side, and Jerome Bettis with some big room has a Pittsburgh 1st down to the Cardinal 30. And up, he pops right back up on his feet in that familiar prance after gaining some big yards. He is light on his feet, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he definitely is. And you talk to some of the defensive backs, and they said they always hope that he gets tackled, because once he gets into that secondary, he's throwing that 260, 265-pound body around. He's going to carry a few players with him.
Yancey Thigpen still out of the Pittsburgh offense on the sidelines. Kordell Stewart has Charles Johnson for a gain of 4 or 5, close to the 25-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning.
Stewart's pass complete to Johnson.
Tom Knight, the rookie out of Iowa, on the coverage of Charles Johnson. 2-minute warning from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Pittsburgh holding on to the 7-3 lead. Cardinal offense finds itself revived in their field goal drive. The Pittsburgh Steelers answering that right back. This is the 10th play of this drive, which began at their own 22-yard line. They have a 2nd down and 4 at the Arizona 24. And Kordell Stewart hands off to Bettis. And Bettis short of the 1st down. That'll bring up 3rd down and a long 2. Eric Hill up there in the middle for the Cardinal defense to stop him. As you take a look at some of the other scores, Buffalo with a big win over the New York Jets.
It's nice to see Todd Collins come back and have a productive day, because there's so much pressure put on him to make the plays, and it's nice to see that.
New England gets the victory. And how about that? Kansas City goes out to the Bay Area and puts a huge hit on the 49ers. And there's that Jacksonville 2-point win over Baltimore. Jacksonville at 9-4 atop the AFC Central. Pittsburgh trying to keep pace here in Arizona. Kordell Stewart hits Yancey Thigpen, who's back in the game, brought down by Aeneas Williams.
Well, Bill Cowher said that he'll give Kordell some opportunities to go ahead and make some audibles. They don't like doing a lot of it, but there's a lot of times thus far in the first half that I've seen one-on-one coverage on the outside, because what they're doing is they're putting 7 and 8 in the box to stop Jerome Bettis, and that's leaving the outside receivers one-on-one. And it kind of surprises me that they're not going to the fade route more with the outside receivers.
Norm Johnson lining up a 40-yard field goal attempt, 15 of 17 on the season. He has been excellent. Doesn't exactly get everything into it, but it's enough. And Pittsburgh adds to its lead now with 1:13 remaining in the first half. They're up by 7. Walking blooper, isn't it?
Chevy Chase, isn't that true?
Pittsburgh with a 10-3 lead, 1:13 left. And what do we have here? You want a piece of this?
Wow.
Get in line.
Look at the beak. You gotta love the beak, though.
Thought Halloween had passed us by.
It's Halloween every day for that gentleman.
Norm Johnson to kick off. He just hit the field goal to give the Steelers the 7-point lead. And taking it is Kevin Williams. Williams across the 22, the 21-yard line. Brought down by Fred McAfee and Jake Plummer, who started 4 years here in the Phoenix area in Tempe for Arizona State, a 4-year starter at ASU. Third in the Heisman balloting last year. He was a second-round draft pick by the Cardinals, and it was former 49er head coach Bill Walsh who suggested to the San Francisco 49ers that they select Jake Plummer. Of course, San Francisco went ahead and picked Jim Druckenmiller, but that's how highly Bill Walsh thought of Plummer.
Bill Walsh knows some talent, too.
At the 21 from the 1st and 10, Jake pumps once, stands in, loops it up. His receiver Moore goes down, and he'll get a flag for it. Chad Scott will be called for interference.
Well, he told us earlier that they were going to go to this play, and so far, twice they've went to it, twice it's worked because both times defensive backs had to make contact.
Number 30 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
We're going to see Rob Moore, and the key to this for Rob Moore is trying to get by the defensive back and try for the big play. You look at this, this is something that I don't agree on. When it's pass interference like that, they give him a 5-yard penalty instead of giving the ball at the spot, and at times, you don't, almost should give him more yardage than that.
Jake pumps to the right side, finds Larry Centers out in the flat. That's where Centers likes to get it, but he'll get no more than a yard. Jason Gilden, number 92, out there. And Larry Centers' 70th consecutive game with at least 1 reception keeps that streak alive, although his numbers have dwindled, especially this season. Plummer pressured, down he goes again, and guess who was on again in the backfield was Carnell Lake, number 37, with a safety blitz.
We almost could feel that this was going to come. This was something that, you know, they've been so successful in the past of rushing the quarterback, and you see Carnell Lake, and one thing that they realize is right here you see Carnell Lake right here, and he's going to rush, and again you can see his eyes is looking right at the receiver, and it's not looking at Jake Plummer in the backfield. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the way they've been successful on defense is by putting pressure on them with defensive backs.
Carnell Lake, who already has had a sack earlier in the ball game. Pittsburgh calling the first time out of this half with 33 seconds to go.
Well, if there's ever a team that can maybe lead the league in sacks by defensive back or linebacker, it could be the Pittsburgh Steelers, as much as they like to bring different people. But you look at all the people that have been getting the sacks. I mean, they went from linebackers to corners to safeties to strong safety, a little bit of everybody.
Sack differential through week 13. Look at the differential. A netted plus 17 for Pittsburgh. That's the second best in this category in the NFL.
I mean, you look at those numbers. The Giants with 42, we never thought that with the Pittsburgh Steelers being that far back.
That surprised us how many sacks the Giants have turned in this year. So now 3rd down and 15 from the 22. Plummer goes down again. Flags come in, and Carnell Lake, if that stands as a sack, that'll be his 3rd. Lake has been all over the snake.
Holding number 37, holding number 83. Both penalties will be declined. 4th down.
Carnell Lake's just unbelievable. Right here you see Carnell Lake, and again what he does is you have to try to bait him, and Jim Haslett does a good job of putting those guys in the right situation. It's going to take more than somebody trying to pull Cardinal Lake down to try to get to the quarterback. Doing an excellent job.
Lake, with his 3rd sack, has 4 on the season. Will Blackwell hauls it in at the 44 and gets it into Cardinal territory at the 48. And we'll remind you that our Domino's Pizza NFL and NBC halftime report coming up. Greg Gumbel in the studio with Joe Gibbs, Chris Collinsworth, and Sam Weiss. You'll have all the scores and highlights. I want to correct myself on the Kansas City game. Kansas City beating San Francisco today. That game was at Arrowhead, but nevertheless a significant win for the Chiefs.
One of the toughest places to play is Arrowhead Stadium because I never liked the chop. Whether it was with the Atlanta Braves or the Kansas City Chiefs, that used to drive me nuts.
Well,
Florida State too.
Kansas City chopped down San Francisco in a big way, and you'll see the highlights of that game coming up on our Domino's Pizza NFL halftime report. Kordell Stewart chased again. He's turned the corner a couple times today, but he's not able to escape that time as J.J. McCleskey ran him out.
When they tried to get it to the outside and give Kordell Stewart enough time for the receivers to get down deep enough to try to get in field goal range, but the Cardinals did an excellent job dropping back into coverage, almost double and triple teaming some of the players.
There is J.J. McCleskey, free agent in his 4th year out of Tennessee. And the defensive coordinator, Dave McGinnis, for the Cardinals, trying to prevent Pittsburgh from getting in that field goal range. 2nd down and long. They have 2 timeouts left. Clock ticking now. And not able to hang on is Thigpen. It stops with 5 seconds to go. Thigpen, after taking that shot by Matt Darby, you surprised he's even in there.
Surprised he got up. I mean, that's what surprised me. I mean, he got up and was able to jog off the field, but it's nice to see him back in the game because he is such a competitor.
Yancey, who took the blow by Matt Darby, was expected to be matched up a lot today with Aeneas Williams. He said, I like the competition. Bring on Aeneas, the 3-time Pro Bowler for the Cardinals. Now with 5 seconds left, this could be the final play of the first half. Kordell's going to work out of the shotgun. He's got a great arm. He can just loop it up there toward the end zone, and it falls incomplete. A trio of Steelers were there, Thigpen, Johnson included, but that'll be the final play of the first half. Pittsburgh took the opening drive right down the field. Looked like they were going to make an easy time of it here. But the Arizona defense stiffened. They finally got their offense going, and the lead is now only 7 for the Steelers. We're right back in a moment. Halftime in Arizona.
Joe Gibbs. Let's run down scores and highlights of the action in the National Football League today, beginning with the game in Oakland. The Miami Dolphins, 2 touchdown passes from Dan Marino, 17-7. The Dolphins lead it at halftime. In Arizona, the Steelers with a 10-3 lead. Steeler defense getting it done with 5 sacks of Jake Plummer so far in the first half. At the Meadowlands, they're into the 3rd quarter now. The Tampa Bay Bucks lead the Giants 7-3. The only touchdown, Trent Dilfer to Mike Allstott. And in Seattle, Jamal Anderson, 2 touchdowns in the first half. The Falcons with a 17-7 lead on the Seattle Seahawks. Earlier today at Buffalo, the Bills knocked off the division-leading Jets. 20-10 was the final score. Jets lost both of their starting offensive tackles. Jumbo Elliott hurt his Achilles. He's out for the season now. And David Williams hurt his back. Also, cornerback Aaron Glenn injured an ankle. He didn't return. And with the Jets offense struggling, Neil O'Donnell called his troops together. It worked here. O'Donnell, 29 yards. Keyshawn Johnson on the receiving end. Game tied at 10. In the 4th quarter, however, the tie is broken. Todd Collins to tight end Lonnie Johnson, who makes the catch, breaks free, 62 yards and a touchdown, and the Bills jump on top 17-10. Quite a day for Thurman Thomas, too. Rushed for 104 yards, his 52nd career 100-yard rushing game. The Jets fall to 8-5. The Bills improve to 6-7, 20-10 Buffalo, the final. New England loved the result because with a win today, they pulled even atop the AFC East, 20-17 over the Colts. Pete Carroll's Pats trying to stay in the hunt in the division. 13-3 Patriots in the 3rd. Jim Harbaugh pump fakes, then finds Aaron Bailey coming across the middle, 20-yard touchdown, 13-10 Patriots. But Dave Meggett fields the punt at his own 25, eludes a tackle, finds a big hole, goes 45 yards to the Indianapolis 27. That was at the end of the 3rd quarter. They switched ends for the start of the 4th. 2 plays later, Bledsoe to Troy Brown, 18 yards and a touchdown. And the Patriots are 8-5 along with the Jets atop the AFC East. They win 20-17. In Kansas City, the Chiefs destroy the 49ers today, 44-9. Steve Young took a helmet in the back from Anthony Davis after the play was dead, and he was never the same. 21-3 Chiefs in the second. Kansas City poured it on. Marcus Allen to Ted Popson from a yard out. Allen's second touchdown pass of the year, 6th of his career, 28-6 KC at halftime. Fourth quarter now, Rich Gannon, 30 yards on the money to Andre Rison, who had a big day, his second touchdown catch of the afternoon. He caught passes worth 117 yards today. And as the clock winds down, Marty Schottenheimer gets the traditional bath. The Chiefs go to 10-3. The Niners fall to 11-2, 44-9 the final. In Jacksonville, the Jaguars rallied to beat the Ravens 29-27. Jacksonville is 9-4. In Washington, the Rams break an 8-game losing streak. Jeff Wilkins, a 25-yard field goal with 4 seconds to play. The Rams win it 23-20. Great game in Philadelphia between the Eagles and the Bengals, won by Philadelphia 44-42. 6-year-old Gunnar Esiason suiting up, but it was his dad who had a terrific afternoon. 7-0 Philly in the first. Boomer Esiason gets the Bengals on the board with a touchdown pass to Darnay Scott. Bengals tie it at 7. Gunners high-fiving anybody in sight. 27-21 Philly in the third. Big day for Bobby Hoying. He hits Kevin Turner on a 23-yarder. Great catch by Turner. Hoying, 4 touchdown passes. Eagles up 34-21. But 41-35, a minute to play. Brian Milne takes it in. Bengals regain the lead 42-41, but with 5 seconds to play. Chris Bonio from 31 yards out wins it for the Eagles. The Eagles go to 6-1. As time expires, they win it 44-42. And at Carolina, Doug Bryan, a 45-yard field goal with 5 seconds to play in regulation, gives the Saints their 5th victory of the year. They beat Carolina 16-13. Now, look at the playoff pictures. First of all, in the AFC, division leaders at the moment are Denver, Jacksonville, and New England. What do you see, Joe?
Well, I see 2 huge games next week. We all love Denver at home. They're not going to be at home. They're at Pittsburgh. Both teams could be in first place, and home field could be on the line there. Also, we got Jacksonville playing at home against New England. Those should be 2 big games, and a lot could be decided next week with those 2.
What do you see, Sam?
I can't figure out the AFC East, so I don't want to talk about them. I don't think they'll go very far in the playoffs either. Denver, I think, has their toughest schedule ahead. Jacksonville, the easiest. Take Kansas City. They're on a roll. I don't see anybody stopping them.
All right, let's switch over to the NFC playoff picture now. And Chris, you and I were just talking earlier. The San Francisco loss today at Kansas City has everybody scratching their heads.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. How does the #1 defense in football in San Francisco all of a sudden give up 44 points against the Kansas City Chiefs? That makes no sense whatsoever. So San Francisco is the best team in the NFC? Well, no, probably not. So now you go down to Green Bay. Green Bay on Monday night, tomorrow night, has to go in and play against Minnesota. They have never beaten Minnesota under Mike Holmgren in Minnesota. So now they're fighting for their life trying to win the division. Now I go down to the Giants. The Giants cannot possibly be the best team, the 3rd best team in the NFC.
Yeah. If Green Bay loses at Minnesota, you have to wonder, what's the best team in the NFC?
I don't know. Obviously.
For another day. Steelers and Cardinals are about set for the second half. We send you back to Sun Devil Stadium and rejoin Dan Hicks and Jim Kelly.
Halftime, where the Pittsburgh Steelers have a 10-3 lead over the host Arizona Cardinals. And Jim, I do find it amazing that the Arizona Cardinals, with only 39 total yards in the first half, are only down by a touchdown. They're right in it.
I think the key to the whole game is the Arizona Cardinal defense. The offense hasn't done what they should be doing, but what's keeping them close is their defense.
Well, let's take a look at the Coors Light halftime stats, and you will see how the Cardinals have not gotten anything going. 14 rushing yards compared to the 107 of Pittsburgh. Jerome Bettis is already over 70 yards, but a turnover-free game. And then the time of possession in Pittsburgh's column heavily with 19 minutes and 23 seconds. As we get set for the kickoff, it'll be Joe Nedney sending it down to Andre Coleman and Will Blackwell. And again, after the opening series here, when Pittsburgh marched it down the field, it looked like the Steelers were on their way to an easy win. Nedney with a line drive, and it's taken out there by Will Blackwell. And Blackwell stretching out to the 29-yard line, and that's where the Steelers will begin. Well, on the outset, Jim, we talked about the slow starts for Kordell Stewart this year. A look at his numbers now. What are your impressions of him in the opening half?
Really not too bad. I think the key to the whole thing is no turnovers, no interceptions, and no fumbles. I mean, quarterbacks a lot of times lead their team in fumbles, but the big key to that first half is no turnovers.
Kordell has thrown 13 interceptions on the season, 3 coming last week. And again, most of those interceptions coming in the first half this year. Jerome Bettis stopped for no more than a yard gain. Eric Swan, who earned his second consecutive Pro Bowl selection, number 98 for Arizona, in on the tackle. He returned to the lineup last week after missing a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. But this week, Big Eric came into this season in the best shape he's ever been in. He was the #1 draft pick back in 1991. And a team leader in sacks with 7.5. He'd like to add to that total today. Gain of 2, call it for Bettis. 2nd down and 8. Stewart to the air for the first time, and it's dropped by John Whitman.
You talked about Eric Swan wanting to have more sacks. He might get that opportunity if the Cardinals defense continues to slow down Jerome Bettis like they have ever since the first opening drive.
Eric Swan earned the first Cardinal Pro Bowl selection among the defensive linemen since Don Brum back in 1968. He and Simeon Rice, the stars up front for the Cardinal defense. 3rd down and long now as Stewart works out of the shotgun. That ball on the wrong shoulder of Charles Johnson, and the Arizona Cardinal defense begins with a stop.
Well, again, the Arizona Cardinals came with an all-out blitz, and it was pretty much 1-on-1 on the outside. And I think Kordell might have hurried that just a little bit too much, because what he tries to do is be able to get the ball out there. And again, Eric Swan on the defensive side being the leader there, Joe Green and all the guys.
Mean Joe Green pacing the sidelines there, a part of Vince Tobin's staff. Kevin Williams back deep to receive the Josh Miller punt. In fact, it was Mean Joe Green who was among the 4 finalists to replace Chuck Noll in Pittsburgh before Bill Cowher was finally hired. Williams backpedaling at the 23, losing yardage, gets a good block, turns the corner at the 20, tries to cut it upfield, but Williams turns in a nice one after it looked like he was heading backwards. He gets all the way up to the 35-yard line.
And when you talk about special teams, you talk about some good blocks, and that's exactly what happens. I mean, Williams does a heck of a job trying to elude some of these guys, Randy Fuller, and what you try to do is try to get
Brent Alexander
guys. I know.
Huge block.
You try to get enough guys around the area where you can juke a couple, and then all you need from that point is some good blocks.
Kevin Williams turned in an NFL best this season, 6 punts for 110 yards last week, averaging better than 18 yards per punt return. As the injured player is Jerry Olszewski, number 55 for the Steelers.
And we met his brother yesterday and talked to him, and he was excited about Jerry being able to come out here, and he used to say that he got his toughness from him, and I think Jerry was a little bit bigger than he was. Here's what happens. It's almost like one of those where you don't know it's coming. That's the first block coming up. The other one is pretty well. We didn't really get to see it there, but when you get hit, when you're not expecting it, that's when it's ouch.
Olszewski in his 9th year out of Pitt. He's played in more than 100 games. A 10th round draft pick back in '89. Let's take another look and see where Olszewski is. There he is.
And when your head and eyes are totally on the guy with the football, and all of a sudden out of the corner of your eye you come and get hit. But I think the big key right there was helmet to helmet.
Tony McCombs was the man that hit Olszewski. Plummer with a quick drop. He's got another completion to the far side to Rob Moore. And Moore is across the 40-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 4. Donnell Wolford on the coverage of him. Well, we asked you about Kordell Stewart in the first half. What are your impressions of the Snake?
Not bad, but one thing you got to realize is Kordell Stewart had somewhat of a running game in the first half, and Jake Plummer pretty much knows that if they're going to win a football game today, it falls all on his shoulders.
Really, 2 different guys, Jim, as far as the teammates surrounding him. Kordell Stewart as Jake Plummer pitches it to Leland McElroy, who picks up the first down. That's a little bit of the resemblance of a running game, but Jake Plummer is a rookie in this league. He's thrown in on a team starting. This is just his 6th NFL start. Shaky offensive line, no running game. Teams just pin their ears back and come after this guy.
Well, they do. For a young quarterback, you'd always like to step into a situation where you have something around you.
Like Kordell Stewart.
Yeah, Kordell's exactly. I mean, he's got it all. He's got one of the best offensive lines in football, but all the weight is now on number 16.
Quick snap, and they give it to McElroy again, and McElroy has some more good yards into Pittsburgh territory. Darren Perry, the free safety, brought down McElroy, a 2nd-round pick last year out of Texas A&M.
You see some good blocking by the offensive line. And one thing you have to rejoice in, Mike Devlin throw pretty good blocks, and I think the biggest cheerleader on that offense right now is Jake Plummer. He wants something to happen positive in the running game.
Well, to a man, and the Cardinal players that we talked to, they said, I don't know what it is, but Jake Plummer has it. When he walks into the huddle, he's got a confidence. It's really a simple charisma. He's on the mark again. Complete down to the 35-yard line to Frank Sanders. And along with Rob Moore, Frank Sanders, they combine for the 2nd-best wide receiving tandem in the NFL.
Is it me, or does it look like they're picking on Donnell Wolford? I mean, they've been going at him. They've done 2 slant and goes, and one thing that they realize is, hey, we're going to have to take some chances right there. Wolford took a chance and tried to make the interception.
Only Herman Moore and Johnny Morton of Detroit have better numbers than Sanders and Moore. The Snake wants some more, and he's got Frank Sanders inside the 5. 1st and goal, Arizona.
Excellent throw by Jake Plummer. It's almost like his second receiver. What he was trying to do was pull the linebacker up closer to his tight end, and all of a sudden, boom, he finds Frank Sanders going down the middle. And he leads him a little bit more across the field. It's a touchdown, but excellent throw by Jake Plummer. He knows that that was the pass that they need to go to get this offense in gear.
I'm telling you, give Jake Plummer a little bit of confidence, and it could really turn out to be a long day for Pittsburgh. It is early, plenty of football left, but the Cardinals coming out on their opening drive of the 2nd half and scoring a touchdown to Sanders. Wow. Suddenly, Jim Haslett and the Steelers are trying to figure out Plummer and the Cardinals' offense.
One thing they were doing, they were mixing up in 2 running plays. McElroy was able to get positive yards on running plays, and all of a sudden, boom, they were able to pick and choose when they wanted to throw the ball.
So here is Joe Nedney with 10:46 left in the 3rd quarter. Adding the extra point. And Jake the Snake, despite Carnell Lake on many blitzes, pays off to Sanders. We're tied at 10. What a statement made by the Arizona Cardinals in their opening drive of the 2nd half. 6 plays, 65 yards. Took a little more than 3 minutes. Jake Plummer, a perfect 4 for 4 on the drive. The 3-yard touchdown pass to Frank Sanders, and the Steelers find themselves in a 10-10 tie. And they'll come out to the 20 to resume their offense.
Let's take a look back at the touchdown again. Right here you see Carnell Lake matched up against Frank Sanders, and Jake Plummer knows in that situation Carnell Lake has come. And a little miscommunication with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jake Plummer does an excellent job reading the defense.
4th touchdown reception for Sanders, and for Jake Plummer, his 5th NFL touchdown pass. Look how he started. And look what he's done since. Kordell Stewart knows a little bit about turning around those kind of numbers.
Isn't that the truth?
From the 20, Pittsburgh begins. Stewart has time and overthrows his receiver, Yancey Thigpen, and he is Williams, as mentioned, being covered.
Well,
on Thigpen.
That time, Kordell Stewart was trying to look off the safety, He pretty much threw that before he really looked to see if Yancey Thigpen was open. And this is where Kordell Stewart usually works his magic. He didn't have a bad first half. We'll see what happens in the second half.
6 of 17, 52 yards for Stewart. 2nd down and 10. The fake to Bettis. Stewart with time, wheels and deals a strike to Charles Johnson. And I believe they'll spot it just across the 30 for the first down.
And a strike that was. That's what you have to do as a big-time NFL quarterback. You got to be able to get 10 yards away from the line of scrimmage and throw a dart, at least a 20-yard comeback. That's an excellent route by Charles Johnson. And, of course, that ball was thrown on the rope. That ball got there quick.
Stewart from Colorado finding his former Buffalo teammates, Charles Johnson. They have the first down just across the 30. Jerome Bettis looking for a hole on the left side, drives for 2 or 3. And suddenly, the way the Cardinals have begun the second half, all those terrible towels quieted here at Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, the Arizona Cardinals are doing their job. I mean, you have all these Steelers in the audience, and all of a sudden you think, okay, are we at Three River Stadium? Three River Stadium West, we used to call Joe Robbie at Miami Rich Stadium South. I guess that's something you look at and compare it to.
Bettis caught almost in the backfield, but resumes his forward progress to get it out to the 35-yard line. You know, when we came to the stadium today, Jim, I mean, how many black and gold jerseys did we see? And this is the way it is for the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, no matter where they go. But actually, when the Cardinals came out on the field today, they were booed. I mean, it was a strange atmosphere.
Well, you got to understand, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been here since probably about 7 or 8 o'clock this morning. That's the way they are. You got to love that.
3rd down and 6 from the 35. Courtney Hawkins in motion. Stewart delivers it to Hawkins, and Hawkins has the first down, and he's into Arizona territory at the 49, and there go the terrible towels again.
If you're going to take a chance in blitz, you're going to let somebody be wide open. That time, Courtney Hawkins wide open, and the key to this is Kordell Stewart having enough time to throw the football. Not a lot of time, but just enough to get the football to Courtney Hawkins.
Ball right at the midfield stripe. 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Arizona and Pittsburgh tied at 10. Jacksonville has already won their game today. They're 9-4. Pittsburgh trying to keep pace. Stewart to the air, complete. Charles Johnson and Tom Knight, the rookie out of Iowa, seemingly getting a lot of action his way lately.
And I think the coordinators on both sides of football realize what they have to do. They're going to try to go after the rookie. And right here, Charles Johnson knows exactly what he has to do. He has to be able to come back to the football. A little push off there, but the good receivers know how to do that and get away with it.
Tell you, we were impressed with Tom Knight when we talked with him yesterday. The 3rd defensive back selected in the draft behind Sean Springs of Seattle and Bryant Westbrook of Detroit. But he's the first rookie cornerback to start an opener since Aeneas Williams 8 years ago. Kordell Stewart to the air, and he's got his man inside the 20, Yancey Thigpen.
The key to that play is Yancey Thigpen has the alternative. Should I go out or should I hook up? And what happens is when you're able to go back and play action, you hold those linebackers, and Yancey Thigpen hooks up. And an excellent job by Kordell Stewart putting that ball right on the numbers and not leading them into the defense.
Matt Darby drove him to the turf. Yancey Thigpen takes a rest. The ball is inside the 20. Steelers trying to answer that nice drive by the Cardinals. Jerome Bettis inside the 15. Tackled by Brent Alexander. Well, we mentioned how hot Jake Plummer was on his drive, a perfect 4 for 4, and the erstwhile Slash 3 for 4 on this impressive drive for the Steelers.
Kordell, second half Stewart. That's about as much as you'd think. I mean, you'd almost think that they would probably be mixing it up with the running game, but so far it's been all Kordell Stewart this drive.
2nd down and 5 from the 14. Jerome Bettis gets it. You know, we talked a lot about this split personality by Kordell Stewart yesterday, and he really seems frustrated by it. He really can't figure it out. He even joked around and said, well, you know, maybe they should start Mike Tomczak in the first half and have me come out in the second half. But then he said, that wouldn't work.
No, that wouldn't work because it'd almost be like his first half anyways. It's the first time he would get back in the game. And I mean, there's so many different things said to him, and pretty much nobody knows what it is.
They've been around in circles with it. He and Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator. Big play here, 3rd and 4 from the 13. Kordell with a shovel pass to George Jones, and Jones picks up the first down. Nice call.
A little shovel pass, and Brandon Stye, if George Jones just follows his block, he might take this all the way to the end zone. Brandon Stye has the angle. He knows that he has a defensive back out there. Aeneas Williams, the only guy really has to worry about making the tackle. But no, what he does is he decides to turn up the field. I think he realized where the first down marker was.
Simeon Rice was right in the face of Kordell Stewart just after he got it away to Jones. 1st and goal for Pittsburgh. Stewart almost picked off by 58 Eric Hill, intended for Charles Johnson.
Stewart's pass incomplete, intended for Johnson. Eric Hill with the coverage.
I think Kordell Stewart just eyes him up the whole time. He stared at him from start to the finish, and right there I think he just tried to force that in, or maybe a little bit too confident with his arm right now.
And Jim, really that's what they're concerned about. Kordell looks so good at so many junctures of the ball game, but again a force there, and you could sense a little bit of frustration with Bill Cowher, even though he's behind Kordell, but sometimes he just isn't patient enough.
Well, I think one person that has been patient is Bill Cowher with Kordell Stewart, especially in the first half, but it's just going to take some time.
Here comes the Cardinal defense on the blitz, and there goes Jerome Bettis for the touchdown. A little headbutt with Kordell, and Bettis has another touchdown.
And the bus made a stop in the end zone. He's pumped up. You know it was just a matter of time before he got the football and put it in the end zone.
Look at Bill Cowher, who said he was going to try to calm down as long as he stays away from the profanity. He really felt bad about it. He's been caught on camera the past couple of weeks with some not so nice lip-reading words, but he's fired up. That's the kind of guy he is. Kordell Stewart hands off to the bus, and Jerome Bettis has the Pittsburgh Steelers back on top, 17-10. An impressive 12-play, 80-yard drive by the Pittsburgh Steelers to regain the lead, 17-10. 6 minutes and 26 seconds is all it took, and Jerome Bettis scored his 2nd touchdown of the game as Norm Johnson sends it away. Kevin Williams brings out the relatively short kick, and Williams across the 30-yard line, and that's where the Arizona Cardinals will begin. Troy Sadowski makes the tackle. Bill Cowher fired up after Pittsburgh is back on top, 17-10, but Bill, keep it clean. He does. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals locked up in what appears now to be a shootout. Jake Plummer, Jake the Snake, coiled and ready as the Cardinals begin at the 30-yard line, trying to answer the Steeler drive. Play action for Jake, steps up in the pocket, and down he goes again today. Carnell Lake has 3 sacks. Earl Holmes, number 50, in there that time.
When you run bootlegs, almost you have to think that you have a running game. Yeah, last series they had somewhat of a running game going, but when you do a bootleg, the key to that is getting in the opening. That time Chris Gedney was covered pretty well out in the flat, and it's pretty much up to Jake to make a play with his running ability, and that time just surrounded by Steelers.
So with a loss, 2nd down and 14. Jake in the pocket, and he's got Frank Sanders. What a catch by Sanders to hang on. Carnell Lake on the coverage, and a nice pass by Plummer.
Nice pass. That was an awesome pass. There's not many players that can throw that ball on that line and get that over to defensive back like Jake did there. That was very impressive. I mean, putting the ball on the line, put a little arc to get it over Wolford's hands. An excellent job by Frank Sanders holding on to the football because he knows he's going to get hit right there by Carnell Lake, and he does a good job of holding on.
Gain of 25 for Frank Sanders, who's been the starter since day one of his rookie year. They're inside Pittsburgh territory. We got a reverse here. Yeah, to Sanders. Now he wants to throw it. And the left-hander steps up and delivers a strike. Rob Moore. Wow. Frank Sanders was a starting left fielder for Auburn in the '94 College World Series, and it looks like he just threw somebody out at the plate.
There's no doubt about that. He's left-handed. I didn't even know that, but he just zips this ball in there. He knew that there was a matter of time before the defensive back was going to get there, but that ball was on a rope. He threw that directly at the receiver. Good follow-through, good technique. Almost looks like he was a pitcher.
Well, he had a heck of an arm for Auburn, and he proves it right there. They keep it on the ground, and they get to the 21-yard line. Pittsburgh trying to keep pace with Jacksonville. They've already won. Greg, how'd they do it?
Dan, they did it with good old hard work. Mark Brunell to rookie tight end Damon Jones. 26 yards to put Jacksonville up 23-14. They went on to win it 29-27 and improved to 9-4 in the AFC Central. That's where the Steelers are trying to get to, Dan.
That they are, Greg, but they're in a fight with the Arizona Cardinals, 3-9, and big underdogs, even at home here at Sun Devil Stadium. Jake Plummer and the Cardinals now, second down. And Plummer steps up and delivers another strike. And I think he's beginning to feel the rhythm here, Jim. That one right on the numbers of Rob Moore, and Donnell Wolford. Well, he's almost helpless at this point.
We knew they came with a blitz, and the poise of Jake Plummer, a young guy in his sixth start, staying in the pocket, be able to deliver a throw like that, that just goes to show that he has a lot of confidence in his ability, and more than that, he has confidence in his receivers, knowing that they're going to come back to the football. Excellent throw, excellent route.
The ball is just outside the 10, so it's 1st and 10. The Cardinals can pick up another first down. Just more than a minute left in the third quarter. Quick drop by Plummer. Pump fake. His receiver fell down more.
I think they're trying to wear that play out right here. They have a feeling that they're going to come with the slants, which they have done a good job, running a few slants, been successful. And that time, the first time they'd run the slant and go, that it wasn't a completion or pass interference.
There is Dick Jamieson, the offensive coordinator. He spent the last 2 seasons as the running back coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. And he has felt the heat here in the Valley, literally, because of some of his play calling. But he seems to have found the right mix now, and it's been Jake Plummer who's been hot. Plummer to the air again. Touchdown, Cardinals. Chris Gedney, the tight end. Gedney, his first reception of the game, and it's good for a touchdown. And the Cardinals have answered the Steeler drive with another touchdown drive of their own.
Well, that was an excellent job by Plummer getting the football to Gedney as soon as he came out of his break. It only took a couple steps, and the ball was right there. An excellent job by turning upfield and getting to the end zone.
And here is Joe Nedney to tie it up again. 7 plays, 70 yards, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Jake Plummer in a shootout with Kordell Stewart. Who's going to end up on top?
Let's take a look back at the touchdown. Right here, you see Frank Sanders in motion and Chris Gedney right here to tight end. And the thing about it is, when Jake Plummer drops back, Gedney does not go into linebacker. He gets the ball as quick as possible. He turns upfield and into the end zone.
So here we go. We'll see if Pittsburgh and Kordell Stewart can answer another touchdown drive. There have been 3 impressive touchdown drives in this quarter. Andre Coleman, the former San Diego Charger, brings it out across the 25-yard line for Pittsburgh. Jake the Snake and the Cardinals tie it up. 48 seconds left in the third quarter. Chris Gedney says, nice pass, Jake. Explosive third quarter of You Top This as Pittsburgh and Arizona are tied at 17. 3 impressive touchdown drives in the third quarter. Arizona came out in the opening drive of the second half. Itzel tied it up at 10. Pittsburgh came back 17-10. Chris Gedney catches a touchdown pass. It's tied at 17. From the 26, Kordell Stewart hangs in. That ball deflected at the line of scrimmage. Michael Bankston got a hand on that one.
You can just tell the way the Arizona Cardinals are coming off the football. They know they have to work in order to get past probably one of the best offensive lines in football, and they know they have a work cut out for them, but they know that they're going to have to come upfield, put pressure on Kordell Stewart, and if they don't, it's going to be a long day. Thus far, they've done an excellent job. Michael Bankston has not missed a game in his NFL career, now 90 games plus, 4th-round pick out of Sam Houston State. Big play there, 2nd down and 10. Closing seconds of his third quarter. The bus gets rolling again and is still on his feet as he gets across the 40. Let's take another scoring update. Check in with Greg Gumbel. Greg.
All right, Dan, at Oakland, the Miami Dolphins dent the scoreboard again. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from 2 yards out. His 15th touchdown of the season, 14th rushing. And Miami, with the extra point, has a 24-10 lead on the Raiders late in the third quarter, Dan.
Okay, Greg, late in the third quarter here. Closing seconds, in fact. And we might have seen the final play of the third quarter. Indeed, we have. What a third quarter it's been. 3 touchdowns scored, 2 by the Cardinals to tie it at 17. And we're right back after these messages and a word from your local station. A bus update. Jerome Bettis has his 9th 100-yard game of the season, but more on the mind of Pittsburgh right now is scoring again here, tied at 17 with the Cardinals. Kordell Stewart connects with Charles Johnson, who does a tightrope act on the far sidelines and picks up some good yards, still short of the first down.
Well, that's the key, is getting positive yards on first down and not having to rely on Jerome Bettis to get those big gains that they usually get on first down, but that time mixing up, and they've been doing a good job of giving Kordell different options, whether just open up with a pass or go ahead and hand it off to big number 36.
Again, start of the fourth quarter here, and we talked about it before we kicked it off. Pittsburgh has not been impressive on the road this season. 3 of their 4 losses have come away from Three Rivers, and they're trying to hold off the underdog Cardinals. The pitch to Bettis, and Bettis into Arizona territory, and it appears to be a first down. Let's get another update from Greg in New York.
Dan, those Miami Dolphins just keep on coming. Jeff George back to pass. Zach Thomas in on him, forces the fumble. Tim Bowen says, look what I found. Touchdown, 31-10 Miami. With a victory, the Dolphins would pull into a tie atop the AFC East with New England and the Jets. Dan?
Thank you, Greg. Miami benefiting from the Jets' loss today.
Does anybody want to win that division? I mean, everybody taking turns. Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Bills. Who knows?
First down, Pittsburgh.
You know, I was telling you a little bit earlier during the break that the key to stopping the Steelers is being able to get a good hit on Jerome Bettis, putting him down the first time that they get a chance, an opportunity to tackle him. Most of the times he gets his yards are after the first initial hit.
Jerome in the backfield. Kordell a pass, incomplete, over the head of Yancey Thigpen, who never had a chance at it. Brent Alexander over there in the vicinity, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Bill Cowher and his team, after a big test at home with Denver next week, are on the road for their final 2 regular season games. So playing 4 of their final 5 regular season games on the road. They lost at Philadelphia last week. They're in a tussle here at Arizona. So Cowher and the Steelers, who seem headed for another postseason, Still with a lot of work left in the regular season. That ball nicely come back to by Charles Johnson. Johnson short of the first down, though. I believe it'll bring up third down. Well, we've been charting Jerome Bettis' yards after the initial contact today. 26 rushes. He's over 100. He's got 30 after the first contact.
Well, it just goes to show you what type of player he is. He's hard to bring down. But that figure right there, those numbers tell you about the guys up front. I mean, he has probably the best. Wolford, Jackson, Demonte Dawson, without a doubt, is probably the best center in the league. And Brandon Stye and Justin Strauss. And talking to Will Wolford, a good friend of mine that I played with, he's amazed at times how they get their running game going. Not all the time it's there, but having Jerome Bettis being able to run that way. And did it surprise you yesterday talking to John Jackson that he said maybe one of the keys for him to stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers is Will Wolford? You're
right. John Jackson told us that his contract is up at the end of the year, and indeed this is one of the finest offensive fronts in the NFL. John Jackson said, hey, if Will Wolford, after 13 years, decides to come back, that will be a plus for me staying with Pittsburgh. He says, naturally, I have to look out for my family. I could have a big contract coming elsewhere. But could we be seeing the end of this great offensive line up front for Pittsburgh? Who knows?
I hope not, because Will Wolford is one of the classiest guys that I've ever met. And to have a guy like John Jackson talk about Will that way, they have to be tight. The roommates on the road.
Third down and a foot. Is it the Kordell sneak? You bet it is. And I believe he just got the forward progress on the left side.
He hates the sneak, especially in this situation. Yeah, maybe when you get down inside the 2-1 yard line, yeah, there's a lot of glory behind that because you're scoring touchdowns. But this time, you have to pretty much put your body on the line.
He says those big defensive linemen come up and lay one on you. That was the left tackle, or actually Eric Hill, the middle linebacker, coming up and delivering the blow on Kordell. But what a joy he is to talk to. I mean, here's a relaxed guy in his first full year as a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Humorous, charismatic, funny. Wow.
You can tell he just loves to play the game of football. Yeah, everybody talks about at times he struggles during the first half of games and comes on in the second half and shows his magic. But what a nice guy. I mean, just one of those guys that you would love to be around and be a part of being on his football team.
You truly hope he does have success because he is one of the nice guys around the league. 1st and 10, just inside the 40 of the Cardinals. Tied at 17. Kordell back to pass over the middle. That is caught at the 35-yard line by Charles Johnson.
That's going to be defensive offsides right there.
Actually, Bruner hauled it in. Eric Hill on the stop.
I think it's be both on either Simeon Rice or Aeneas Williams.
Number 35, defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Bob McElway with some wicked reverb on that call, but Aeneas Williams called for the penalty.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see Simeon Rice down at the bottom of your screen. He jumps. Aeneas Williams, look at him. He comes across the line of scrimmage, too. At times, defensive backs have to do that because if you're going to go up and you're going to test a wide receiver, you want to slow him down before he gets that speed up. And when they do that, they've been successful in putting pressure on Kordell Stewart.
Yards penalized. Not really too bad for either team. So a 1st down and 5. The ball moved inside the 35 for Pittsburgh. And Jerome Bettis right up the middle. There's a first contact, and he stretches it out for a couple more. Eric Hill put the clamps on him, but Jerome can surge ahead. As you take a look at some of the other scores around the NFL, Jim, your Buffalo Bills with a big win over the New York Jets. Thurman Thomas over 100 yards today.
They thought he was washed up. Come on now.
New England with a big win over the Colts. And Kansas City pounding San Francisco at Arrowhead today. And Jacksonville again with a big win. They're 9-4. And again, Pittsburgh trying to keep pace. Here they are, 2nd down and a long 2. Jerome Bettis is short. That'll bring up 3rd down and a yard. Eric Swan there to bring him down.
You know, it's been hard for any team to stop Jerome Bettis. Maybe contain him to a certain point. I think that the Cardinals said, okay, if we want to have a chance, we're going to have to stop him this second half. And so far, they've done a good job at pretty much containing him. Where they've gotten a lot of their yards has been through the air with Kordell Stewart hitting those receivers.
It's 3rd and really a long one. They'll call it 2 officially. 10th play of this drive. Jerome will try it, and he will get it.
That's a situation where there's no way I want to be on that side of the ball. Jerome Bettis was full steam ahead. He had that thing in fourth gear. He was running. He was going to get that first down if he had to run 2 or 3 players over. Just the momentum he had coming up. I mean, you can see it in his eyes that he just wants that first down. He's going to put his head down and get that first down.
So Pittsburgh and Bill Cowher keep the drive alive. The clock remains ticking. 10:22 left. 17 all. And again, they give it to Bettis. And Bettis bowls his way inside the 25-yard line. Brent Alexander came up from his free safety spot to make the play. But this is a time of the game when Vince Tobin told us, the longtime defensive coordinator, now the head coach of the Cardinals, told us, you know, we've had a lot of close games in which we've lost, but the biggest disappointment that I've had in our team going 3-9 has been the way the defense has not dug in at critical times. This is a critical time.
This is very critical time, especially when the game is deadlocked at 17. You have the momentum, your team goes down and scores, and all of a sudden, boom, the Steelers are back.
2nd down and 7. Kordell Stewart incomplete, intended for Thigpen. That'll bring up 3rd down. Aeneas Williams over there on the coverage of Thigpen. That's been a good matchup all day.
Boy, it has, and I think that time Kordell, when he was delivering the football, he saw Aeneas get a good jump on Thigpen on the outside, and he probably had a misguided, try to guide a little bit outside so it wouldn't be intercepted.
So a key 3rd down call here. On 3rd down, Stewart has picked up a couple of first downs.
One thing that Kordell has to realize right now, he doesn't want to get sacked and take a big loss because they are in field goal range.
Stewart has time, wide open in the flats. Will Blackwell. And Will Blackwell is spun out of bounds at the 22, short of the first down. So the Cardinals and Tom Knight, who wrestled Blackwell out of bounds, hold and at least force Pittsburgh to go for a field goal.
And that's not an easy task, especially with Blackwell being out there and the moves that he has and the quickness of being able to tackle him. But Knight does an excellent job keeping him within the grasp, knowing where the first down marker is, and holding him up until some of his other players get close enough.
Nice job by Knight.
Excellent job.
Very sharp guy. He was in the locker room when we came in to meet with the Cardinals by himself in the corner of the locker rooms with his playbook, leafing through all the play. I mean, this guy is more prepared than anybody.
I think every rookie in the NFL should do that, because some players, you look at them 2 or 3 years down the road, they still don't know the whole game plan or their plays. That just goes to show he wants to be a player in this league for a long time. You sure there wasn't a coach like around the corner, you know, taking a little peek in? He was trying to like show him something?
There is Mr. Knight, the 9th overall selection in the draft. He says, I've always had a good work ethic. I'll always be that way. He says, the last thing I want to hear is that number 22 wasn't ready for a game today. Here's Norm Johnson for a 39-yard field goal attempt, which will give Pittsburgh the lead. So the Steelers can't get a touchdown, but they answer a Cardinals drive with a field goal of their own with 9:12 left. They regain a 3-point lead. Dan Hicks with Jim Kelly back in Tempe, Arizona. Kordell Stewart on the phone after leading the field goal drive by Pittsburgh to give them the 20-17 lead, and Jake Plummer ready to go out with the Arizona offense again. Norm Johnson just kicks it down the field. It never got a yard above the ground, and it rolls out of bounds, and they'll move him back and try it again.
Boy, that's one thing that irritates special teams coaches, is when a kicker kicks a ball out of bounds.
Earlier we mentioned how there had been a letter to the editor in the Pittsburgh newspaper talking about how he didn't think that some of Bill Cowher's profanity had been exactly great for the kids watching at home, but I think Bill kept it clean again. After the poor kick by Norm Johnson, the Cardinals begin with excellent field position at their own 40. Play action for Jake Plummer, and he's on the mark again inside Pittsburgh territory. Jake Plummer is heating it up. The last 2 possessions, which have come in this second half, the Cardinals 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, answering everything Pittsburgh could throw their way. And Jake Plummer, who just connected again, is now 8 of 9 in the second half.
Well, he's showing so much poise for a young quarterback, especially the heat that was put on him early with some of the blitzes that the Steelers were showing.
Passing again, and down he goes. I believe that's the 4th time Jake Plummer's been sacked. Kevin Henry in the backfield that time.
That time Chad Scott had excellent coverage on Rob Moore, and you can tell Plummer just didn't want to try to force that ball in there, because if he doesn't want to cause a turnover by trying to take something that wasn't there.
The 7th sack turned in this game by the Steeler defense. On 2nd and 12, that running play, somewhat of an ill-conceived number to Leland McElroy, and they lose more yardage. And after they've had many chances at that play, which hasn't done anything, why would they go to it again?
Well, what they probably try to do is run a draw play, thinking that, okay, the defense is thinking we're going to drop back and throw the football. Maybe we can catch those guys in the blitz, bringing guys from the outside, or the defensive lineman really coming to rush the passer, maybe surprise him a little bit, but that time it backfired.
So now the ball's all the way back at the 45. They need to get to the Pittsburgh 39 for a first down. Jake Plummer with plenty of time, rifling it downfield, and it's caught by Rob Moore. What a strike by the Snake.
Mr. Poise, Jake Plummer in the pocket. And what amazed you so much, he sees Kordell, he sees the outside linebacker and Carnell Lake coming off the corner, but this is a dart. He throws a dart 35 yards down the field. Excellent throw.
It was 3rd down and 16. They get 44 from Jake to Sanders, and it's just inside the 10, 1st and goal. Steelers with a 20-17 lead. McElroy finding a little bit of room on the left side, gets it close to the 6 or 7 yard line before Kirkland brings him down.
The biggest difference between the Steeler defense and the Arizona Cardinals defense are both getting hits on the running back, but the Steelers are putting down McElroy from the get-go. They're making that tackle at first of contact, and with Jerome Bettis, it sometimes takes 2 or 3 guys to bring him down.
Well, you see how tough it is to score against the Steeler defense on the ground. So I would think that when Jake Plummer comes over to discuss things with Dick Jamieson, there might be some nifty pass plays that we may see when we come back. And sensing something special, fans of all shapes, sizes, and mentalities in the audience here.
He's got it down.
2nd down and goal, ball at the 6. Cardinals trail by 3, 20-17. Less than 6 minutes left. Plummer takes a look, dodges one Steeler, heads in close to the goal line where he's down to the 1.
At times right there, it almost reminds you of a young Joe Montana. I know it's at times it's hard to say that, but even talking to some of the people around him that know of Joe Montana said that it almost seems like a young one. I mean, his size, the way he moves around the pocket, the strength of his arm, unbelievable. It's nice to see a young player like this being able to keep the poise and being able to sit in the pocket and do things positive.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. Bill Walsh said, give this guy a couple of years, and he said he's going to be one of the best in the league. Ball's at the 1, 3rd and goal. They give it to Larry Centers, and he might have lost a half a yard. Nolan Harrison, 74 up there, made sure Centers didn't get in.
Even though they are going for a field goal attempt, this is something almost looked like it was a broken play. He didn't quite get there as quick as he wanted to. And I know Tobin has to be kind of disappointed on the sidelines knowing that they had an opportunity to get the ball in the end zone and it didn't happen.
Well, Jim, last week they had another 4th and goal situation, a gamble taken by Vince Tobin late in the game last week where they turned it into a touchdown. Jake Plummer had a touchdown pass, but they will not mess with that here, and they will simply tie it up on a chip shot field goal by Joe Nedney. Tied at 20 with 4:20 left. We return to the stands of our favorite Cardinal fan. Well, Cardinal fans hoping they end up on the winning end of a close game. Again, they have been in 7 games decided in the final minute or overtime this season and have only a 3-9 record to show for it. This is Andre Coleman taking out the kick by Nedney. Coleman with some good room, and he was just a couple of tackles away from breaking that one before Tom Knight brought him down. Well, NBC Tonight starts with an all-new Dateline, followed by all-star bloopers and outtakes from your favorite television shows. Then Chevy Chase stars in a great family comedy. It's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, following bloopers on NBC Tonight. Tied at 20, just more than 4 minutes left. It is now Pittsburgh's turn to try to answer the field goal by the Cardinals. Stewart stands in, finds Jerome Bettis, and Bettis stopped at the 30-yard line for a gain of 5. Let's revisit Greg in New York.
All right, Dan, out in Oakland, Jeff George has thrown his second touchdown pass of the day. This is a 27-yarder to James Jett. However, the Raiders missed the extra point. They are still down 15 to the Miami Dolphins. They're in the 4th quarter now, and the clock is running under 8 minutes to play. 31-16 Miami. Dan.
Thank you, Greg. Clock running here. Just about 3.5 left. Tie game at 20. Jerome Bettis heads back up the middle, short of the first down, and that'll bring up 3rd down. The numbers for Kordell Stewart, 14 of 29 for 133 yards, as he has been impressive.
Somebody's down on the ground, rolling around, not feeling too good at this point. Looks like John Jackson. I mean, I saw the 5 on there, but
How would you like to watch the Cardinals play
we know that
in New Orleans on
any
December
part of this offensive line that goes down, it hurts the running game. I mean, there's not a better 5 in the National Football League than those 5 guys right there. That'd be definitely a big blow.
There's Dermontti Dawson. Still don't know 100% for sure if it's John Jackson, but you're right. You saw the 5 on the numeral, and John wears 65. And Cowher now comes out to check on his fallen player. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers have lost the last 2 games at Sun Devil Stadium versus the Cardinals. The last one came back in '94, a 20-17 loss in overtime, and we've already mentioned the Super Bowl game here played at Sun Devil Stadium a couple of years ago, where they lost to Dallas, as John Jackson is now upright. But it has not been a good history for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in the Phoenix area. Good news, Jackson is at least up and walking under his own power. And it'll be 62 Thomas Linsky who will go over to that critical left tackle position.
And you know John Jackson, you just know the type of player he is and how tough he is. I mean, he's only missed 7 games since 1988. This goes to show how physical and how tough that guy really is.
So without the 2-time Pro Bowler, Pittsburgh tries to pick it up on 3rd down and 2. Why not give it to Bettis? But I believe Bettis is short. Big surging defensive line up front for Arizona, and they hold the Steelers. That was key, as the clock is stopped now with 2:52 left. Will they measure? I don't believe it's even close. They are short. It'll be 4th and less than a yard.
Why would the Steelers go for it here? I mean, you're 4th down in less than a yard. You don't get it. pretty much all the Cardinals have to do is just move it a few yards, and they know they're in field goal position. With the game tied 20-20, I can't see Bill Cowher going for it here.
Well, now they're going to come out and measure, but the sticks clearly indicate, at least from this angle, that he needs to get to the 35, and the ball is short of that.
A good football. At least a football, yeah.
So that is the distance Cowher needs to get a first down. John Jackson, we've just been told, is back in the game at left tackle for Pittsburgh.
Wow. They're going for it. Maybe they're going to try to draw the Cardinals offsides. It's pretty much the only thing I can think of the reason they're going for it here. But, hey.
Or are they that confident that Kordell Stewart can pick it up with the old sneak? Bettis gets a try. I think he just barely got it.
That shows a lot of confidence in Dermontti Dawson, Wolford, and Brandon Stye in the middle to give the offense that opportunity to go for that. Wow. My hat goes off to Bill Cowher there.
Well, they're not going to bring him out again, are they? I mean, now the ball's across the 35.
Bob McElvey has to, he has to be on the tube. I mean, he wants some publicity too.
Well, he's doing a great job.
There you go, Bob. You got it. Does that surprise you, Dan?
Yes, it does. With 2:19 left. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like Jake Plummer in the way this Arizona Cardinal offense has been playing, and to give them a chance to win it.
That's true. I mean, Jake Plummer has been hot, but that just goes to show you how much confidence he has in that running game of the Steelers. So
Pittsburgh with a fresh set of downs, ball just across the 35. They keep their hopes alive of finishing the Cardinals off. That one knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Eric Swan, who stands 6'5", 313 pounds, knocked it down. And we're 5 seconds away from the 2-minute warning. This is the last type of position the Steelers wanted to find themselves in. 2 minutes left, and a tie score on the road against the 3-9 Cardinals.
Well, one thing Kordell Stewart doesn't want to do here is force the ball in. He has plenty of time. He's got the 2-minute warning plus 3 timeouts left, so he can afford to take his time and pick and choose who he wants to throw the football to.
Well, this time he waits and chooses Bruner, the tight end, across the 40. As we've reached the 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh 20, Arizona 20.
Sexy. It's screaming. It's All-Star.
A look at our Miller Time game summary. Kordell Stewart, the numbers for him. Jerome Bettis earlier in the game picked up his 9th 100-yard rushing game, but the unexpected Plummer's hot second half. 9 of 10. Pittsburgh now faced with 3rd and 4 from its own 42. Stewart out of the shotgun, and Charles Johnson cannot hang on. And I don't think Cowher's going to go for this one. He needs about 4 yards on this 4th down.
I'm not saying anything this time. But that's a heck of a job by Tom Knight being able to cover. I mean, he does a heck of a job covering Charles Johnson here. And the thing is, if he lets him get that, that automatically gives him 4 more chances to go for the first down. Good job by rookie Tom Knight.
So now on 4th and 4, Josh Miller will punt it away to Kevin Williams. Less than 2 minutes remain, tied at 20. And a poor punt by Miller. Williams lets it fall. And Miller's able to get a bounce out of it, but he's been inconsistent this year as the Cardinals will now begin from their 13. Well, we mentioned the bad memories Pittsburgh has had at Sun Devil Stadium. The last time these two teams met here, November of '94, when the kickoff in overtime was fumbled by the Steelers wearing the throwback uniforms. That's Charles Johnson with a fumble. And then just 3 plays later, Greg Davis, then the kicker for the Arizona Cardinals, boots the 51-yard field goal to give the Cardinals the win. Arizona coached by Buddy Ryan back then, but then again, Bill Cowher a couple of years ago came here against Dallas, lost at Sun Devil Stadium in the Super Bowl. So now it's up to Jake Plummer, Dick Jamieson, the offensive coordinator. They got a long way left with 1:45.
Well, one thing you got to think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do, and pretty much the only way they've been successful of putting pressure on Jake Plummer.
Well, we've now been told by Bob McElwee that Arizona has been charged a timeout. So now I believe they only have one left.
Exactly.
Steelers have 3.
And they're still talking about it there, but like getting back to where I was talking about Dan before is, in order to be successful like they have in the past by putting pressure on, you have to blitz. I mean, Kordell Lake coming from each side. Maybe try somebody different this time. Maybe not Kordell Lake. Maybe bring somebody from the other side. Mix it up a little bit.
Again, the Miami score. The Dolphins rolling it up with a 2-minute warning against Oakland, 34-16. Vince Tobin appears to be upset, perhaps, about the timeout that was charged to the Cardinals. That's a crucial timeout. What was it, last week when Jake Plummer called that ill-advised timeout, which Vince Tobin was not too happy about?
Not too happy. That's saying it mildly. And this, but right here is where Jake Plummer can earn some stripes. I mean, they realize what type of quarterback he is and the confidence they do have in him. But with 1:45, one timeout left, he has to know that he doesn't have to force the ball. He's plenty of time to work the sidelines. He's got some excellent receivers. And I think that he also should know that this is when the Pittsburgh Steelers love to blitz.
Well, this is the situation that Jake Plummer loves, doesn't he? Drove the team 55 yards in 6 plays in the last half-minute last week to pull it out against the Eagles. He begins this drive from his own 12. Takes a look. Downfield is more, and it's complete. Here we go.
Jake Plummer's got to get him on the football and either have a play already called or spike it right now. He still has plenty of time. He probably will go with a play and not worry about spiking the football because he does have time.
Great concern in the eyes there of Bill Cowher. 1:20 and counting left. Ball at the 49-yard line. Plummer to work again. Chased out of the pocket. Showing his speed. Picking up a first down. Down to the 38. Again, the Cardinals with one timeout left, and we're inside a minute. Tied at 20.
What the Steelers did there, they brought a guy down. Jake was just getting ready to unload the football, but good thing he showed his poise once again, holding the ball and pulling it down and running for the first down.
Quick drop. Plummer slings it, and it's complete at the 31. No, it is incomplete. And that'll bring up second down. The clock stops with 42 ticks left.
The ball is on the 39-yard line right now. He has to realize how many yards he has to go. All they need right now is a field goal. I think Jake might have been a little bit too excited there. He threw the ball before the receiver was ready, but anytime the receiver comes out of his break, he's got to be alert for the ball.
There was that gutsy winning drive turned in by Plummer. Remember what he did in the Rose Bowl? As an Arizona State Sun Devil, they came up short in the Rose Bowl, but he had a similar clutch drive.
And here comes the blitz again, Kordell Lake.
And there goes Plummer to the far side, and it's caught at the 25. Rob Moore again. Clock continues to roll as Moore did not get out of bounds. 30 seconds left, and they are well within Nedney's range. And I expect a spike here.
Yes.
22 seconds left. Nedney hit the 43-yard game-winning field goal last week as time expired, and he's got another chance today.
Well, they do a good job of stopping the clock here, but maybe what they want to do is, with one timeout left, maybe try to get the ball in the middle of the field, maybe try a quarterback sneak for a couple, try to get it a little bit closer.
Remember, this drive began way back at the 12, 13-yard line.
And this is probably one of the reasons Bill Cowher went for it on fourth down, is because he knew what Jake Plummer was capable of doing.
22 seconds left. Cardinals trying to stay away from a big sack. Plummer steps up. He's going to be sacked, and he'll lose yardage. That was critical as Nolan Harrison knifed in.
I do not understand what they were even thinking. You don't put a quarterback in a situation where he's in a gun when the score is tied at 20-20. All you need is a field goal. That, I don't think, was a very smart call. What they have to do is try to get a couple more yards, maybe put the ball in the middle of the field. Right now, it almost looks like they're being greedy. They're trying to get more than they need.
Well, Jake told us yesterday, he says, you know, one of the things I have to work on as an NFL player is to get rid of it at the crucial time. Didn't get rid of it there, and the Steelers pick up their 8th sack of the game.
And I was just going to get to that point, because even though they do put you in that situation, I know the coaches are asking a lot of a rookie quarterback, driving his team all the way down the field, but he's got to realize that if it's not there, you got to throw the football away. This is the time in the game where you cannot afford a sack.
Well, Jim, with 16 seconds left, they want to move Nedney in a little closer, obviously. It's 3rd down and 14, but from where the ball is spotted now, it would be about a 46-yard field goal by Nedney.
How about a quarterback draw right now? It's about the only thing I can see in the gun situation right here.
Plummer on the run again, and this time gets rid of it, incomplete. Stops the clock with 11 seconds, and he nearly was sacked for the 9th time.
Oh, boy. I stand up here and watch the last couple plays of what the Cardinals were doing, and it just pretty much amazed me that they're doing that. Instead of running the ball, putting them in good field goal position, they take a sack, number 1, and then it's an incomplete pass the second time around.
Joe Nedney is not particularly automatic from anything outside of 40 yards. He did hit the 43-yard game-winning field goal last week as time expired, but a timeout on the field taken by Pittsburgh, and he'll get his chance when we come back. It's left. Joe Nedney is on the field. They're spotting it at the 36. It'll be a 46-yard field goal. This would be a career long for Nedney. He swings into it. It's hooking to the right, and it's no good.
Again, going back, and you don't want to ever get to that point, but going back to what happened in the past, you put your kicker in a field goal position where he has to make the longest field goal of his career. And you can see his right foot slips a little bit, probably allowing him to hook the ball a little bit. But, boy, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't put too much blame on the kicker. He's out there to try to do it, but he just a little slip there. But the whole thing comes down to the sack by Jake Plummer.
Our score here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, the Cardinals, heavy underdogs in this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers tied at 20 with 6 seconds left. We are headed to overtime as Kordell, Stewart, and the Steelers will take a knee. Joe Nedney unable to connect from 46 yards out. And the Arizona Cardinals will enter their 4th overtime game of the season. Following the game on most of these NBC stations, though, it's Dateline Sunday. Raging floods and an overflowing river leave more than 100 dead. Then it's all-star bloopers and outtakes from your favorite TV shows, followed by Chevy Chase and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows at their regularly scheduled times. So Arizona comes up short on the field goal by Nedney. They began their drive from the 13. Jake Plummer working his magic, got them in position, but then, as you said, took the critical sack and really put even more pressure on the shoulders of Nedney to make a career long.
Well, number one, I learned this a long time ago, that when you get in field goal range and that's all you need, you settle for that. I mean, you know, going into the drive, if you start at the 13-yard line, okay, what is your field goal kicker capable of making? So pretty much you know you don't have to go the length of the field and put the ball in the end zone. You just got to go to a point on the field where your field goal kicker is comfortable and he'll make it.
So the coin toss at midfield. And we like like to welcome those of you who have been watching Oakland and Miami go at it. The Dolphins able to get by Oakland 34-16. Much closer game here at Sun Devil Stadium, as the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals are tied at 20 as we get ready for the overtime session. Kordell, Stewart, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, can they pull it out, or will Jake Plummer and the Cardinals prevail? We're right back after these messages from your local station. Start the overtime session here in Tempe, Arizona. Pittsburgh and Arizona knotted at 20. Dan Hicks with Jim Kelly. It'll be Jake Plummer and the Arizona Cardinals with the first chance to win it in overtime, as they won the toss, and they will receive. Norm Johnson getting ready for the kick. Back deep, the ever-dangerous Kevin Williams along with LaShawn Johnson. Back and forth seesaw battle, especially in the third quarter. After a 10-3 halftime lead by Pittsburgh, Arizona tied it up at 17 with 2 clutch touchdown drives. Kevin Williams takes it across the 20-yard line, brought down by Fred McAfee. This game is into overtime because just a couple of moments ago, in the closing seconds, Joe Nedney unable to connect on what would have been a career-long 46-yard field goal, which just hooked to the right. And a big reason why he had a long field goal attempt was because of a sack that Jake Plummer took that backed the Cardinals up.
Well, Dick Jamison and Vince Tobias should never put him in that position. A young quarterback. They were in field goal range, about 5, 6, 7 yards closer, but he took the sack. Again, Jake will remember this and probably not make that mistake again.
Well, they began that drive back at their 13, and into the face is Levon Kirkland, right into Jake Plummer. Sack number 9 of this game.
That's 275 pounds running over a 195-pound skinny quarterback. Ouch. Good job by Jake Plummer, though, holding on to the football.
He has been sacked 9 times today. He has been thrown around in his 6 NFL starts.
He has, but I'll tell you what, he showed the poise. He's hung in that pocket when he had to.
So the ball is back at the 16, 2nd and 17. Movement up front along the Steeler line, and flags come in. Incomplete. Downfield to Sanders.
The offsides on the Steelers.
Offside,
good job.
Number 74, offense, 5 yards. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
That time Nolan Harrison called for the penalty.
Good job by Jake being able to mix up the snap count, because he knows the Steelers have their cleats in the ground. They got a little rest. They know they're going to throw the football. They know that the Cardinals do not have a running game. And all the pressure is on a young rookie in his 6th start, Jake Plummer. They know that in order for them to get the ball back, they have to blitz.
So they do get 5 yards. The ball up to the 21. Still 2nd down and long. They need 12. Plummer has time. Looks for an out. Avoids sack number 10. Heads to the right, and he's got Larry Centers. Centers' second effort might have picked up the first down. What a Houdini act by the Snake that time.
Whoa, oh, you gotta like that. A young player getting out of that. Unbelievable. Jake Plummer totally runs into the defensive lineman Jason Gilden, and how he got out of there, I have no idea. But one good thing right here, Larry Centers knows he needs the first down. It's just a matter of who's going to get lower, the guy with the ball or the tackler. That time Centers went out.
Gets the first down up to the 35-yard line. Less than a minute into overtime. And they give it to McElroy, and they've been doing that once in a while this game, just trying to keep the Steeler front 3 honest. Sometimes they've been stopped for big losses, and sometimes they've gotten 2 or 3.
Well, not too much. I mean, this is a part of the game where you know you're probably going to win the game with a quarterback. But one thing that I think they got to realize also is the only way the Steelers have been successful today in putting pressure on is with outside blitzes. With Carnell Lake coming from one side or Levon Kirkland peeling around and coming from another side.
Plummer's stats on the day. Since the first half, he has been red hot. Second down and 8.
Here they come again.
Here comes the Steeler defense. Plummer delivers, incomplete. Just got his receiver twisted around a little bit there, as Kevin Williams, who has not recorded a catch today, unable to hook up with Plummer.
Well, that time Jake knew that he had a blitz coming from his right side in his face. He knew it was just a matter of getting the ball out there, but it just wasn't a very good throw. That would have been a big play because it would have been enough for a first down.
This is a big play. 3rd and 8 from the 37. Here comes the pressure again. Jason Gilden. Sack number 10.
See the bottom of your picture right here. Jason Gilden, a little stunt, being able to go out and up the middle. But the key to that was the defensive secondary, Cardinals leg, being able to cover some of the receivers downfield.
So there goes the punt, taken at the 30-yard line by Courtney Hawkins, and he's up to the 32-yard line. So it looked like perhaps a promising drive by the Cardinals sputters with yet another sack.
I can't even remember the last time Kordell Stewart was on the field.
Number 40. Repeat. Down.
Now they have to repeat the down, and Eagles will have to go back and punt again.
At least the Steelers are probably guaranteed some good field position unless there's a penalty. I mean, some of the things that they have to do is run north and south, and I'm sure that Bill Cowher has told his players, hey, we need positive yards now. Let's not take any big chances.
We saw the score there, which is 20-20. This game had the look of a Pittsburgh blowout. Steelers marched right down the field on their opening series to take a 7-0 lead, but the Cardinal offense finally got going in the 3rd quarter, and their defense has been impressive. Courtney Hawkins takes the Eagles punt to the midfield stripe. Now actually short of it out to the 48, so Kordell Stewart and the Steelers have excellent field position on their first possession of this overtime period. Again, 12-17 left in overtime as we take a look at the game summary. Tied at 20. Kordell Stewart, the numbers for him. Jake Plummer rallied the Cardinals with 2 long sustaining touchdown drives in the 3rd quarter, but the Steeler defense has put the wraps on Plummer all day long. 10 sacks. And now Kordell Stewart and Pittsburgh within striking distance to pick up just their 2nd win of the year on the road. Play action. Stewart has time. Wide open as Yancey Thigpen. He sheds a tackler, and he's within field goal range now as Pittsburgh's down at the 30.
Well, now let's see what the Pittsburgh Steelers will do here. This is about the same area. Maybe I think the Cardinals were even a little closer. Let's see if they'll put Kordell Stewart in the shotgun formation. I don't think so.
So Norm Johnson, I'm sure, on the sidelines warming up a bit as Kordell is under the center, just outside the Cardinal 30. Play action. Stewart inside the 20, complete to Thigpen. Clutch pass play from Stewart to Yancey.
One thing you realize what they're doing, they have a feeling, the Cardinals do, that the Steelers were going to try to run the ball with Jerome Bettis, but no. They know they're one-on-one on the outside. A lot of confidence in Yancey Thigpen running an excellent route on the outside. Knows that all he has to do is catch the football.
Aeneas Williams giving him a lot of cushion out there. There is Norm Johnson, who has already connected twice. And now they'll just keep it on the ground. Jerome Bettis, with both hands around the football, twists his way close to the 15.
In these situations, you almost think what you think's going through Bill Cowher's head right now. Do I take a chance of running a couple more plays and maybe somebody fumbling the ball or a penalty, or go ahead and get Norm Johnson on the field to kick the field goal?
Ball at the 15-yard line. Steelers just trying to move it in closer for Norm Johnson. On 2nd and 7, Bettis, right side, does move it closer, close to the 10-yard line. And so now it'll be under a 30-yard field goal by Norm Johnson. Again, Jerome Bettis, much earlier in the ball game, picked up his 9th 100-yard rushing game of the season. So he has been, as usual, a big part of the Steeler offense.
Oh, he is. And you know, you look at Kordell, I think he had a productive game. He didn't turn the football over like in the past in the first half. He came out in the second half, pretty much relied on Jerome Bettis, but he came up and he did what he's supposed to do.
There are Bettis' numbers, 35 rushes.
I think Bill Cowher wants a chip shot here, don't you think?
Well, he's moving in as close as he can. This is 3rd down. Bettis gets the first down and more. How about a touchdown of the win?
That's not a bad chip shot.
Look at Bill Cowher. He wants to congratulate someone, and it's Jerome Bettis. He hugs Kordell Stewart. The winning touchdown comes at the 9:26 mark of overtime in the Cardinals' 4th overtime game of the season. Jake Plummer with a gamely effort. Comes up short, but the Steelers trying just to move Norm Johnson in closer. Bettis gets all to 6.
Well, we talked about what Jerome Bettis means to this offense, but more than that is making the tackle on first contact. The Arizona Cardinals did a pretty good job of that today, but not when they needed it.
The final score, Pittsburgh 26, Arizona 20. And you saw Bill Cowher run across the field to Jerome Bettis in jubilation. The Steelers have a win on the road in overtime. We're going to go to a commercial, and after that, Greg Gumbel will join you from the New York studios. The Steelers pull it out on the road by 6 in OT.